dakilang lahi, salyo sa ating Panginoon ay pasasalamat sa kalayaan, kapayapaan. Salamat mga bayani, ninuno ng nakaraan, sa mga kabataang pag-asa ng bayan. Piliin mo'y isang bansa, isang diwa. Binigay mong ginto't bulaklak at sa mga perlas ng silanganan, kaligayahan. Salamat mga bayani, ninuno ng nakaraan, sa mga kabataang pag-asa ng bayan. Mahal kita, mahal ka, aking bayan. Mahal kang isang bansa, isang diwa.
Ang awiting inyo pong napakinggan ay kaloob, paggamit po sa atin ni Francis Tancelco at ni Marizen Llaneza, ang mga kompositor ng awiting Maharlika, Isang Bansa, Isang Diwa. Kung aking tawagin ay Marcha Maharlika. Maraming salamat kana Francis Tancelco at Marizen Llaneza. Ngayon ay Oktubre 14. 14 na nga ba? Ha? Naman. Ako'y lagi kasing tulog. Kaya nawawala sa panahon, nawawala sa timeline, no? Ngayon ay araw ng Huwebes, of course, araw ng WOTN. Tayo po ay mapalad na nung last episode natin, first revival episode, tayo ay sinamahan ni Madam Princess Elizabeth at ni Doc Harry. Kung makakasama si Doc Harry ngayon ay pwedeng-pwede po para makausap at makatalimitam si Migz G. Matagal na rin po talaga na hindi natin nakausap si Migz. Tayo ngayon ay nandun sa lugar na kumbaga nasa sitwasyon na naninimdim ang ating mga pananaw. Pero dapat hindi tayo mawala ng pag-asa at kaya ito ating aalamin kung ano na nga ba talaga ang mga nangyayari according sa perspektiba at pananaw ng ating panauhin. Siyempre, nandiyan dyan ang isa sa mga maaari niyang ibigyan tayo ng insight ay tungkol doon sa Pandora Papers na kung saan nakalagay dito, merong isang male lawyer na Pilipino na merong 5 account. Merong isa, male, walang binibigay na palatandaan. May 6 na account, isang 46-year-old female, hindi kaya si Migz to. May 7 account, a 75-year-old male, hindi kaya si Don Tiburcio to. 7 accounts, 81-year-old male, hindi kaya si TBTM to. Wala na si TBTM eh. 8 accounts. A female from Hong Kong. Hindi kaya si Berame, Lizelle Berame. 11 accounts. 71-year-old male. Hindi kaya si Ardoray to. 20 accounts. Saka isang female, 21 accounts. Yung pala yung ibig sabihin yan. Pero bago natin takuan yan, nais ko lang po i-share sa inyo itong Psalm 91. Ito ay kaloob ni share ni Kuya Lawrence Landicho. Kung naninimdim ang ating pananaw, ang ating outlook sa buhay, mayroong birtud. yung mababasa sa Biblia na Salmo 91 o Awit 91. Sabi dito ni Betty Go Belmonte, matagal ng artikulo ito o section sa panulat dahil wala na si Betty Go Belmonte, matagal ng lumisan. Sabi dito, minsan ang isa kong kumadre na si Norma ang nagsabi sa akin sa gitna ng mga panganib, napakabuti pananggalang ang Ephesians 6 verse 16. Sa bahaging ito ng Biblia, ang verso ay binabanggit na pananalig. Bumabanggit ng pananalig bilang pananggalang, ang salvation bilang helmet at ang salita ng Diyos bilang espada ng Espiritu. Ito ay nagpapaalala sa akin, sabi ni Betty Go, sa kwento kung bakit ang Salmo 91 or Awit 91 ay ang tinaguriang proteksyon. Unreadable na po yung sumunod na phrase. Noong ikalawang digmaang pandaigdig, Second World War, isang buong regiment ng mga sundalo, mga British, na nasa larangan sa Europa sa loob ng 5 taon at nang makatapos ng digmaan nang wala man lang isang sundalo ang nasawi. Nang kapanayamin ng reporter ang sikreto, doon na pag-alaman na taimtim nilang sinasambit ang Salmo 91. Bakit? Sinabi nila ang kanilang commander, isang nagngangalang Colonel Whitstell, unreadable ito, hindi ko sigurado kung hindi na rin readable. Mula sa unang araw ay ibinahagi na sa kanilang Salmo 91. Bawat araw, sisimulan nila ang araw sa pagbabasa hanggang sa iyon ay maisaulo nila. At ganoong sinabi nila sa mga reporters kung walang pananalig, walang mangyayari. Hindi kaya mainam na bigyan ng Salmo 91 ang bawat sundalo kung may isang bandang libo-libong, hindi na masyadong mabasa. So, yan po, may bertud po yung Salmo 91 dahil ang Salmo 91 ay kaloob ng Diyos, binigay na panalangin ng Diyos kay David. Kumbaga may bisa yan dahil mahal ng Diyos si David. Dinidinig ng Diyos ang panalangin ni David. Kaya kapag yan ay atin din dinasal, ma-assimilate na rin ho natin yung as if na tayo rin ay si David na sumasambit niyan ay maaring mapakinggan at mapalapit sa Diyos kung ano man yung panalangin na yan. So, yan po isa sa mga maaring magdulot po sa atin ng lakas ng loob. Ngayong tayo ay kumakaharap na isang sitwasyon na tila hindi natin makita ang ating kaaway. At yan, yung sinasabi ni Duterte na papasokin niya yung mga bahay at tuturukan tayo habang natutulog. Sabi naman ni Harry Roque ay joke lang daw yun. Pero para sa akin, hindi ba pwede natin din silang bansagang mga bioterrorists? Kung tayo ay binabansagan nilang mga threat dahil ayaw natin magpabakuna, pwede rin natin silang bansagan bilang mga bioterrorists, kumbaga. So, hindi na natin patatagalin ito. Atin na pong patuloyin ang ating panawin na walang iba kundi si Migz G. Magandang gabi sa iyo, Migz.
Magandang gabi ka, Anton. Thank you po for having me again.
Matagal-tagal na rin yun. Maghahalos 2 taon na yata nung tayo ay huling magkausap. Ano?
Siguro almost. Bago pa yung, hindi po, maybe a year and a half nung kasisimula lang po lang COVID. And I was sharing with you yung sagot natin sa COVID na yung sa pineapple extract. Na sabi ko, one day I will come to your show and explain it to the people. Yun po. So, mga a year and a half.
Kamusta naman yung naging outcome ng inyong outreach tungkol dun sa pineapple na yun? Ano nangyari doon na yung Migz?
Ongoing po tayo. Currently, ang humihingi po sa atin are the frontliners. So, whether vaccinated ka o hindi, very helpful po siya kasi binuboost niya yung immune system. And at the same time, within 24 to 48 hours, tested ho siya. magne-negative po kayo in case positive.
Wow.
In case naman po asymptomatic ka and you're using it regularly, most of those using it have a negative IgG, positive IgM, something like that. Or ibig sabihin daw po, asymptomatic recovered. Yun yung term nila. So
So
it's a very...
available pa ba yung inyong preparation na yan,
Yes
Migz?
po, yes po.
Ah,
Actually, ang sinishare namin sa tao prior to you getting yung lactobacilli from us, you can actually prepare it already at home. Ang ingredients lang ho, very simple. You just need 1 pineapple, green ho, unripe pineapple. That's 1 kilo to 2 kilos na green pineapple, 500 grams na ampalaya, 19 tablespoons na brown sugar, 5 tablespoons of honey. Tapos yung preparation nyo po sa 4 gallon na water, yung may faucet, or yung mga circular na water containers nyo, pwede na po yon. So you just have to ferment that until pH 4. Tapos from there, kailangan nyo lang po i-freeze yon para ma-stop po yung fermentation. And then, as soon as you get the mother supplement from us, yun lang ang idadagdag nyo, pwede na kayo mag-propagate sa bahay.
paano madidetermine na naka-reach na yung pH 4 level?
pH 4. Ang pinakasimple
Reader
po,
ba tayo
kung meron kang mga high school students, they actually use yung litmus paper.
Okay.
Pwede kang humingi sa kanila. Ayun lang ang pinakasimple. Ngayon, kung wala naman po kayong litmus paper available, ang pinakamadali, kasi Pilipino ho tayo, we use our senses. Karamihan ho, di ba gumagawa ng suka, vinegar sa bahay.
Mhm.
Kanya-kanyang gawa ho yan. Kung hindi, lambanog, basi, kasi once it goes over the vinegar stage, nagiging alak. Magaling ho ang Pilipino eh. So before it becomes vinegar, yung height lang ng tamis, stop na siya. Kailangan bago siya maging suka.
Pero
And
yung
then
mga ganyan, hindi readily available yung mga ganyan technology na ngayon. Hindi tulad ng dati. So,
Hindi,
wala
ano po, ang pinakamadali nyo, if you cannot use your senses na pang-amoy, tikman nyo.
Okay.
Pag matamis-tamis na siya, tigil nyo na. Hindi siya pwedeng umasim. Kasi pag maasim siya, vinegar na siya.
Okay.
Tapos
Meron bang
ang-
pwedeng... Sige, tuloy.
Sige po. Tapos yung sa side naman po natin, we give out yung mother supplement for free. No payment ho talaga yon. Kung we've started ho using si LBC for people in Mindanao and Visayas who like to cultivate. LBC has been accepting it naman po. So far, ang hiningi lang nila sa amin etong next na mga iaano daw natin, dapat naka tape na mismo doon sa bottle yung ingredients and yung where it was manufactured and yung expiration. Yun lang ang hiningi naman sa atin. Ngayon, kung within Metro Manila po kayo, we actually use Grab or Lalamove to send it to you. Kung within Luzon naman po, as long as the bus stations are available, we send it through the bus station. Kasama na ho yung instructions of what to do. Kaya yun lang hinihiling din namin. Opo, sige po.
Ano pa ibang pwedeng mga diseases or illnesses ang pwedeng gamutin nito? O makakatulong para sa meron pa bang iba?
Yes po. Yung additive po kasi natin na which we mutated is Arc-Felon Z. It's called Arc-Felon Z. Yung gumawa po ng Yakult, yung lactobacilli ng Yakult, which is the Shirota strain, is the same manufacturer of Arc-Felon Z. Pero si Arc-Felon Z po is 35 strains. And it was initially intended for cancer and diabetes. So, may mga gumamit ho. Yung nagturo po sa amin on how to make it is actually a Japanese guy po who had stage 4 colon cancer na nag-heal siya. So, bago ho natin natutunan yan, marami hong gumagamit ng mga cancer patients. And then we also have diabetes patients na who are using na yung mga nagda-dialysis. We have one who's 87 years old. nagdadialysis siya twice a week. Hindi niya nalaman na nag-positive siya kasi asymptomatic siya when in fact yung mga ganong constraints sa age pa lang niya plus yung
Critical na yan.
comorbidity niya that would have been
Ah,
life-threatening. Pero hindi ho asymptomatic siya. Umiinom siya nung niyan, asymptomatic ho siya. They only told her when she was already negative. Tapos may mga ano naman ho tayo na yung mga doctors ang gumagamit, nagugulat ho sila kasi pag may sugat, no, kung yung patient may sugat o kaya malaking area na kailangan ng skin grafting. In truth, pag spray mo siya, it dries up in 3 to 4 hours.
bilis
So
siya.
very promising talaga siya. The doctors we're working with are actually pushing us to go for a patent. Kaya lang, sabi ko sa kanila, it would defeat the purpose. Kasi ang purpose natin is to give it to the people if as much as possible as free or at a very minimal payment sa kanila na kasi gagawin nila sa bahay, wala tayong hihingin. So, ang whatever payment they have will be their own expense at home when they make it for yung family or yung relatives nila. But other than that, they will not get any, they will not have to pay us even a single centavo.
I think doon na rin tayo papunta somehow kailangan maging self-sufficient tayo pagdating
Yes
dun
po.
sa mga curative at mga remedies dahil alam mo naman restricted na yung pagpunta natin sa ospital at maraming constraints, no? So iba
Correct
talaga
po,
ang
correct
hanapan.
po.
Pero yung
At saka,
sige.
whether we like it or not po kasi, hindi rin naman po kasi 100% yung vaccine. Just the same way, we are not claiming that the supplement is also 100%. The only thing is it depends kasi person to person on how it reacts to your body. But you are assured that your immune system would be boosted. Yun ho ang assurance. Na somehow, you would have a fighting chance against yung enemy na hindi natin nakikita. Kasi sa ayaw at sa gusto natin, we can tag it as actually World War III Kasi
Ayan na
whole
nga.
world talaga ang natamaan.
That's
Diba?
right.
Yun.
So, may laban tayong video demo nito para mapanood ng ating mga kababayan paano i-prepare ito. Dahil siyempre, kapag may involved na fermentation, baka mamaya magkamali somehow. May mga corresponding dangers din yan kapag mali yung proseso. May
Um,
bang hinanda
hindi
na video preparation yan?
hindi hindi naman ho kasi it's as simple as 'di ba kung nung kabataan ho natin uso kasi ang tinuturuan ka sa school magluto, no?
Okay.
'Di ba? Mag-ferment o kaya gumawa ng atsara, ng ano. It's actually very, very simple. You put everything inside the container and then you test every now and then. Hindi
Ah,
siya aabot ng 24 hours. So it's
mm,
less than 24 hours. As soon as that happens, it stop. Frozen na siya. As is na siya. Strain nyo lang, tanggalin na lahat ng mga solid. Yun na po yun. Now, with regard naman po doon sa additive na galing sa atin, on the safe side, we've had it tested in FDA. So sa FDA, hindi siya tag as supplement. Tag siya as food grade. So kumbaga, juice lang ang labas niya. Para lang siyang Yakult.
wow, wow,
So,
wow.
yun. So, yung area po na yun, karamihan ho ng initial na talagang humingi sa amin were the frontliners na natamaan dahil sa vaccination. Na nagkasakit sila, yung mga breakthrough cases, sila ang humingi na kung po pwede mabigyan sila ng supply. So that's where we started to produce it at a rate na depende kung sinong hihingi.
Tama. Sige. So, siguro pag-usapan natin yan in more thorough detail in one of our episodes. Napansin ko rito sa iyong mga feed photos sa inyong website, no?
Website. Yes po.
Ano na nga ba yung website natin, Migz? Ikaw ng
mdgfi2016.org.
.org. Namigay ka yata ng bigas na itong pandemya? Ito nga yung nakikita natin.
No po. Hindi po ngayong pandemic po yan. That's we did that for a whole a year and a half po tayo na umikot. Ang point lang ho kasi natin dyan was two factors. When we started what we're supposed to start, di ba may tatlong category po tayo that I explained to you. Yung feeding program, yung housing, and then eventually yung sa um, livelihood. So we started with the feeding program. So we know what's happening sa grassroots. We went around. Subsidized ho siya. Hindi ho pamigay na totally. Yung whole grain ho na dinurado at saka jasmine at saka yung mga imported rice that's selling around 80 to 90 pesos per kilo, we gave it to these people at 40 pesos per kilo. Ang ano lang ho natin, we were testing po, no, kung masarap kasi ang kanin mo kahit wala kang ulam, magana ang tao. So we were trying to see, ang hirap po kasi ng yung NFA ho natin minsan may amoy, di ba? Pag binigay sa kanila, minsan hindi na nila makain. But if you try to see these people, pagkakuha nila ng bigas nila, hinahalo nila sa NFA, kahit papano daw mas masarap siya. So we were giving it at a very low price of 40. Though the real intention only there was for us to learn sa grassroots level kung ano nga talaga ang problema ng taong bayan. Because if you give it for free, yun nga sabi nila, hindi pwedeng dole out eh. Pag dole out kasi, ang tao, hindi na magtatrabaho. We've seen that with yung sa 4-piece, di ba? Karamihan ng 4-piece, pipila sila, kukuha sila ng pera. Pagkakuha ng pera, yung pala isusugal lang nila doon sa kanilang community. Magtatog sila o kaya mag-ano ng manok, mag-ano. So, hindi talaga feasible ang dole out. The dole out part should not ever happen. Ang sa atin lang ho, 3 phases like we told you. Feeding program, the housing, and then later on, yung livelihood, meaning to say, we will help you jumpstart your life. Yun ang promise namin sa government when we sat down with the government. So we've been having talks with the government since we set it up formally, yung foundation, in 2017. So as soon as we set it up, we had formal talks already with the government, and grateful kami, even if we have not met PPRD, si Tatay Digong personally. I haven't even been to his office, but lahat ho ng letters namin talaga na pumunta sa kanya, never nila tinurn down. All our requests have always been granted until yung last request namin nitong July na letter namin sa kanya. The very next day, tumawag kaagad yung presidential management staff. So I'm really very grateful that they're trying to work things out for the people. Yun lang po. Even if I haven't really met him. Yung team nila, I fully support when it comes to yung work ethics kasi hindi ho talaga kami pinabayad. Though there are really a lot of people who would like to block us from giving this to the people. Hindi mo talaga matanggal po yun eh. Like you said po, no, with yung Psalm 91, ang hirap po kasi ang kalaban natin, mas mahirap yung hindi mo nakikitang kalaban. Bukod doon sa virus, there are certain entities that are not really physical in nature who are trying to stop us to give this to the people. But so far, like I keep on telling everybody who's talking to us, the Lord is always 10 steps ahead. Yun din ho ang very grateful kami. The Lord has always shown us a path that we are about 10 steps ahead of everyone else. So we're also happy to say po, no, na remember the first time we met, I sent you po yung package na tinatawag na ibibigay sa tao. So far, that's the same commitment still that we're giving. We just enhanced it, ni-revise lang natin, binaligtad ho natin. Ang mangyayari, it would be the feeding program simultaneous po with yung livelihood and then the housing. Kasi habang binibuild po yung houses, ang intention po natin, kahit papano, na-educate na ang tao with what's to come. At the same time, for them to know that the money that they will be receiving in the future is not something that will come until the end of their life. It's only going to come to them in a 2-year time frame to help them jumpstart yung family life nila. So whatever they do after that will be on their own lookout. Kasi pag sinabi mong lifetime yan, tamad na naman ang
Mm.
lahat ng tao. But if you tell them that it's something worth looking forward to kasi pag may opportunity ka to change your life, then ang Pilipino ho, masipag eh. Basta opportunity, masipag ang
Ah,
Pilipino.
pero
Wag lang
short-sighted.
sosobra. Oo.
Lagi
And
short-sighted ng mga Pilipino.
opo, yun po. Kahit nga sa kahit na anong kalamidad, kita niyo ho, like in Baguio, nag-landslide na naman, umulan, in any calamity, if the news media is there, everybody starts smiling. Parang walang nangyari. Di ba? Yun ang maganda kasi sa Filipino. It's the same thing that we're also telling people. You have to be very grateful that even when events like that happen, tapos mapunta kayo sa evacuation center, napakadaming tao. But you see, even if they're not vaccinated, bakit walang namamatay? Di ba? Di sana lahat ng taong nasa evacuation center, lahat may sakit.
Na,
But then again, opo,
sige, nung huli na yung nag-usap, na nabanggit ka na, nakabantay ka doon sa mga ano mo, may monitor ka, may mga screen kang nakikita mga active, ganyan-ganyan. Ano na nga ba yun? I-refresh mo nga.
hindi po, that was not from
Ma-
us. I was showing with you po, no, na
mm,
that's actually government based. That's government based. It's called the command center. It's the
aha.
first command center that was set up for the Philippines. It's supported by SMART. It was set up in Baguio po. So
Mm,
the Baguio City government together with the national government and SMART set that up. They can monitor um, si contacts si SAR po na si Mayor Magalong has access to I don't know how many generations of people you speak with during the time na COVID ka sa contact tracing, and that's computerized. So
mhm.
they can yun nga yung pinag-uusapan nyo kasi when I watched yung video nyo ni Ka Ardo, you were talking about contact tracing that eventually you have less of your life in a private situation kasi mas public na siya kasi nakikita.
Tama,
Yung
tama.
system nila actually is lower than the system that was offered to us by a friend. Ongoing yon dito sa Philippines. They were supposed to do it for the whole Philippines. As soon as you enter a building, naka-ID ka na because of your
Mhm,
phone. No?
mm.
Because of your phone, you're traced kung saan ka pumunta, kung anong ginawa mo. As soon as you place into the app that you're part of this, then you no longer really actually have a private life. Kasi nga, alam nila kung nasan ka at what instance. They know what you've been doing at that instance. That's precisely why we've been telling everybody from the start, no, na pagdating sa kayamanan, do not touch what you know nothing of. Kaya kaya yan yung sample po ngayon, yung sa Pandora Papers. See, we've been telling you that as soon as QFS starts, everybody who has touched something in the past may time of reckoning. So they will
Ah,
always know when you touched something, when you sold something, di ba? So
mm,
may point of reckoning. Lalo na ngayon na QFS na, and there's only one banking system.
mhm.
Kaya sabi ko
Yan,
ever
yan,
since,
yan,
yes po.
yun din nga ang gusto kong balikan kasi no na
Mm.
pinag-uusapan natin yung WOTN. It appeared to me, or I got the impression na meron kang monitoring system na nababantayan mo yung mga figures o yung mga banks, something like that, na mga records,
Um,
things like,
no,
something
no.
like that. Pero
That
hindi ko lang masyado fully recollect at the moment.
no. The
Ah,
system that we showed you actually is the system of the foundation. That's a
ah,
license, an international license for any monetary account or amount that has to go through the foundation. So very
okay.
grateful ho tayo. I'm not sure how many foundations in the world have been given a license like that, but as far as we know, nagkaroon tayo ng hard time. We had to close it down June last year kasi yung may hawak dito sa Philippines wanted us to pay under, alam mo na, under the table, which we would not
Ah,
like to do. Kasi yung
mm,
international license natin, we took that in full legal. manner po eh. Wala ho tayong payment underground, wala tayong ano, so wala tayong red tape. In-applyan ho natin yung license natin fair and square. So I would not like to pay someone or even an entity at that na magkakaroon sila ng percentage when in fact that's for the people, hindi naman para sa personal pocket yon. So the system actually shows you how much is being transferred to the foundation, how much is being blocked by the system of yung andito, which is linked to BDO. Nakalink na ho yun actually in PNB, if I'm not mistaken, that has been linked with PNB, Metrobank, Security Bank, BDO, and there was one more bank na ang sistema po kasi mangyayari supposedly, no, since we've already got the license, I've already submitted also to BSP and to PPRD's office the system of how we will do it. We have two POS machines. Niloloko nga ho kami. Saan ka nakakita ng foundation na may POS machine, wala ka namang bibilhin. Pero as per documentation ho natin, the only reason why we applied for the POS is because there are people who have accounts, no? The people, itong mga keepers and holders who have accounts na na-issuehan siya ng ATM. So our POS machine is valid nationwide. You are going to swipe with the account codes we are going to give you, supposed to be, and then transfer what's there directly to the foundation to be used to the people. We will in turn return to you as per documentation and as per LOI your 10%. 10% lang kasi ang valid po, di ba, per holder. So the 10% will be issued to you by the foundation, which means that whatever is issued to you from the foundation is clean money because you have a history that the foundation was the one who gave it to you. How we acquired the money from you going to the foundation is our own lookout because I already signed the documents for that, no? Nang pag-transfer nyo sa foundation, because we've already also told before, if you try to analyze po yung interview nyo sa akin before, we told you that the foundation is supposed to change the Alpha Omega Foundation, which is null and void already. So the mother foundation of all the foundations supposed to be na may hawak ng pera would be the MBGFI. So apart from yung POS machine na yan, the banking screen that I showed you, that means that anywhere in the world, kasi QFS tayo, whoever's assigned as a trustee can transfer the money now directly to the foundation with all the AMLA and all whatever you have to pass there has already been submitted.
Sa foundation nyo, no?
Ready na
Foundation.
tayo. Yes po.
Okay.
And in return, the foundation po, if you try to read yung documents po kasi ng foundation, ang basis ng pagbukas ng foundation, it says there, it is going to eventually be owned by the Filipino people. It's not owned by any private person, any private entity. It will be owned by the Filipino people.
Anong suppose na account yung mabubuksan mo sana nun? Na tinatrabaho?
Nito po, yung madami ho eh. Kasi like I told you before, there are more than 5,200 accounts. But the latest that we've been working on para hindi tayo magkagulo with the government is one that we received from the Office of the President. So we have reconstructed that. I sent you the paperwork for that, I think January, if I'm not mistaken, I gave you a copy. So we've claimed that account for reconstruction. We've heard from the bank, last we heard from the bank was June this year, and we complied partially with the bank ng July, but we're only at a standstill period because ang atin lang, not until they let us sit down sa position na hinihingi natin, or at least give us the office space that we're asking for inside the Baguio Mansion House, then that's the only time we will also comply with all the documents that is required for by the bank. Kasi as soon as we submit that and the money is available and then we don't have the office space nor yung connection with the government, magkakagulo na naman tayo. pagdating ng spending.
Okay. So ano
Kaya
na ang status nito ngayon? Freeze ba ang transaction, yung mga negotiations?
no po,
Or meron
it's still ongoing po. The last call we had from the Office of the President was actually July. Ang hinihingi po kasi natin is to be seated initially as an interim po. We do not like any position na long term, masakit sa ulo yan. Interim lang ho tayo to be seated in Blisda. If you're aware of Blisda, that's Baguio, Metro Baguio, that's the surrounding towns of Baguio. But as per the Office of the President, there was a bill that's supposed to say that per memorandum of agreement, mayor dapat sa Blisda area ang nakaupo. Pero wala na yon kasi na-override yon no bill ni Senator Gordon. But unfortunately, since we were asking for that position, Senator Aimee and Congressman Go made another bill to supersede that, and nirasyo nila. Hindi ko alam kung gaano kabilis sila. Saludo nga po ako kasi within barely 2 months, they've had the third and final reading at na-pass na ko last Sunday. So as of last Sunday, tapos na po yung bill. So starting last Sunday, chartered city na po uli ang Baguio. So I'm just waiting for word from them if they will give us the seat in the office since it's already a chartered city again. Then as soon as they say go, then we will enter the bank to submit to SEC, BIR, and the bank yung final documents. And as soon as we submit that, we're hoping that the money transfer would happen as soon as we submit that. Kasi wala
Anong
namang
account?
question yung bank.
Anong account na nga ba to? Migz, nakalimutan ko talaga.
Yung account po ni yung account po ni Venturada Talarok.
Ha?
The account is under BPI at 943 trillion USD. The interest is 113 trillion 160 billion US dollars. So that's
Anong
under
account
BPI.
dali to? Yung wala ito din sa mga popular account names gaya ng MCD,
Wala po, wala.
Wala nang ganun.
Wala po, wala. Ano to?
C3,
She's still alive. I haven't even met her personally, but the paperwork for this came from the Office of the President. So ang sinign-for ko lang, ang attachment ko lang is yung aking birth certificate with yung aking bank ID na nasa birth certificate and yung attestation that came from the foundation that we are now going to reconstruct that account. So it's tagged as a requisition account po siya.
So dati, di ba, we were talking about C3AM, kung hindi ako nagkakamali.
C3AM is a mother account po. Remember, these accounts, like I told you, all the trust fund accounts have to go back to the mother account. So whatever account you're holding, yun ang sinasabi ko sa lahat ng tao dati pa. There's a time for that. You just have to wait for the time for that. Once this happens, then the only thing you have to do is come to the foundation and apply. So you can have your trust fund monetized in a legal manner. So tayo po, we are always just going with the factor na everything should be within the bounds of law.
So itong hinahawakan mo, ibang account ito na hindi pa namin narinig before.
I am not sure if you heard her before, pero ang alam ko, kilala din siya sa world ng mga taong nagtitinda ng commodities, sa mga account holders. I think she's a very popular person. I have met people who know her and who have met her. Kasama din siya doon sa meeting noong 2016 or 2017 that happened here in Manila for all account holders. May meeting ho kasi yan eh. There are several meetings na pag account holder ka, tinatawag ka talaga. So kasama ho siya. So sa world ng mga account holders, you can ask, she's well known po. But I haven't met her personally.
Hindi ito Marcos related. Marcos related debt o sa mga elders? Ano ang nature ng kanya account?
Yes po,
If
it's
you may. Kung
related
hindi
with the
naman mo,
Marcos asset po. It's a FMD account, FMCA account, sorry.
ano
It's
ibig
an
sabihin?
FMCA account. Ferdinand Marcos, yung collective account ni Marcos, it's an FMCA account. It's branched off from the FMCA account.
Hmm.
Na-move ho siya directly from the FMCA na ilipat sa kanya as a trust fund account.
So magkano uli ito, Migz?
943 trillion.
Wow. And then,
On taxes, on interest alone, it's 113 trillion, 160 billion dollars. So when we made the paperwork for this, we pledged to the government that initially part of the initial project that will come out of this is actually to pay off the Philippine debt. Kaya nag-spending spree sila thinking that this will come out kasi nga as soon as this comes out, wala nang utang ang Pilipinas.
sino magbabayad naman yan? World Bank? Ano ba yun?
This is an account under BPI, naka-trust fund lang siya.
So,
Speaking
kanino
of World Bank po, speaking of World Bank, sorry to
Yun
burst
din.
the bubble, of everyone who's thinking that Donald Trump will still sit down and he still owns the wealth. Well, I'm sorry po, no? 2019, Ivanka Trump has been turned down to be the head of the World Bank. So, ang statement pa lang noon saying, no, you are not allowed to touch. And even when he sat as the President of the United States, he's been trying to, but since it's not his, he will never be able to touch it.
Ayun na nga. At least yan, lumalalim na. So, tungkol doon, sino magbabayad niyan? Kanino manggagaling kanino natin sisingil? Kanino nila sisingilin yung 900 trillion na yan?
Hindi ho sisingilin. Yun ang nami-misconstrue po kasi ng tao. Remember,
Ano yun?
we have a global debt facility. The global debt facility is owned by the Philippines, meaning to say, ang may utang, yung mga central banks of the world, sila ang may utang sa atin. Hindi tayo ang may utang sa kanila, and this is not going to be paid off by them. Remember, we've been telling everybody na, ulitin natin, the reason why we have the bankers here in the Philippines, it contains several items to include the gold and the commodities. No? Ngayon, yung commodities ho na yan, more likely it's either a bond or yung actual na kumbaga a currency that was printed here. But you have to remember, the currencies were printed here solely because they borrowed the gold from us. In return, the Philippines printed these currencies as an advance payment. Meaning to say, if we spend it, that's still legal tender. So what they're trying to do is to make sure that it's no longer legal tender kasi hindi nga naintindihan ng taong bayan, ang ginagawa na lang nila, oy, amin yan. Diba nakita mo dyan, Iraqi dinar. So ibig sabihin sa Iraq yan. O kaya property of the US nakalagay. So ibig sabihin amin yan. It's because of us not knowing the real story. That's why we are prone to say, sige, benta na natin, easy cash. But that's not it. Yun ang sinasabi ko ever since. You have to know why it's there, the purpose why it was placed there, and what it's going to be used for. Yun ho ang sabi natin. Now, if you see the global debt facility, ang sistema ho kasi, kailangan pag in-inventory nila, lahat dapat intact. For you to claim that we own everything, meaning to say that all the governments and central banks of the world owe us in the Philippines. So ito po, it's not an individual account that's going to make one person rich. It's not also an account to make only the Filipinos rich. It's supposed to be used for the world. No? But with the Filipinos and a Filipino as an administrator for the world for us to make sure that it is shared to the world. Yun ho kasi ang hindi maintindihan ng tao.
No, mahirap.
So with yung event, malalim po, no? With the event po kasi na nito, Di ba? Simply put po, ang alam kasi ng tao, since puti, mas magaling kaysa brown. Mali
Mm.
eh. So, ang nasa isip natin, Nesara bago Jesara. Kasi mas magaling sila sa atin, puti sila eh. Yun
Mm.
ang misconception. No? Hindi. Ang may-ari ng pera nakalagay ho yan, di ba? It's the Filipino people. So how can somebody who's not a Filipino manage the wealth that's not supposed to be theirs? Yun ang question eh, di ba?
Ano nangyari
So how
ngayon?
can they claim, di ba? So how
Ah,
can they claim that it would start with them and eventually go through the
mm.
world na nawawala ang Pilipino kung ang may-ari na nakalagay dun sa lahat ng documents Pilipino?
Mhm.
Yun lang kasi sa atin, andun yung point na paano natin gagawin? Diba?
Ah,
Paano natin sasabihin,
ang
go
problema
ahead.
kasi nito, Migz, for the past decade, palagay na natin ganun, nakurap yung istorya eh.
Yun nga po.
Maraming fabricated stories, kasama na kung ano-ano, kesyo ganito, kesyo ganyan. Kaya natabunan na yung totoong istorya.
Mhm. Yun nga
So,
po.
masiset mo ba yung totoong istorya at makorek talaga yung dapat nating matutunan dito?
Yun nga po ang
Batay dito sa
sinasabi ko
sinasabi mo, batay dito
sa
dun sa
lahat
mga
ng kausap
ngayon.
natin. It's high time, it's high time that we re-educate the Filipino people. Kasi for as long as we do not re-educate them and tell them the real history as written and has been done by our forefathers, we will not be able to claim what is rightfully ours. Parang yan, with the event na magkakaroon po tayo ng election, it's sad that people are recounting that Marcos is actually a dictator. Apart from him being a dictator, nasa point tayo ng you go back through martial law and say that there were so many people who died and so many people who were tortured and so many people who did this and that. But in truth, if you think about it po, no, like ako, I was born in 1974, meaning to say, I was part of being a martial law baby all our life. We know about martial law, but I've never known anyone who was tortured. I've never seen anyone who was killed because of martial law. The only thing I knew when I was growing up was I was in a private school and people from the DOH would go to the school to give you something na pinapatak sa dila mo or to give you a vaccine in school, and then you have free milk, may subsidized tuition fee ka pa. So even if I have not I have not met President Marcos all my life, I have seen the good side of whatever he has done for the people. Similarly, if you try to see history po, no, even before he sat down, the wealth has already been there. And if you also try to see, it was not him who actually set up the global debt facility. It was Jose Rizal together with him. So interim lang talaga. If you try to see a lot of videos now, especially with the event ng pandemic, and we have nowhere to go except the house, and the internet is readily available, why don't people try to research, no, beyond what is said sa books na sinulat ng Philippines about the wealth? Because apparently the foreigners know more about the wealth than the Filipinos. Mas marami nga ang nakakaalam sa labas ng bansa kaysa sa atin, which is very unfortunate. Kasi sila mismo, pinag-uusapan nila na gagamitin yung kayamanan that was left under the trust of the Philippines. Habang tayo, ano yun? Paano tayo naging mayaman? Saan daw
Ah,
galing yun? Akala ko ba ninakaw? Diba? There are
Tsaka
so many questions that have to be changed
ang
and
concept
answered.
natin, kaya nung tinanong ko sa iyo, sino
Mm.
magbabayad? Kapag binayaran ba, hati-hati ba tayo doon? So ako na mismo, isa sa mga misinformed.
Mm.
So paano
Yung,
natin ito maitutuwid ngayon sa maikling panahon natin ngayon na maibibigyan mo kami ng buod batay doon sa mga nilalakad mo ngayon at ano kung saan ka na ngayon, ano na mga narating mo ano yung mga misconceptions na yung mga important highlights na maaari mong ibigay sa amin at kamusta na itong nilalakad mo? May saan paroroon na ito?
Paano ko ba to put it in a nutshell po, no? Marcos was the sixth and last keeper, meaning to say administrator lang siya. I agree with everyone when saying that it was not his, because he never also said that it was his. But for everyone who knows about the wealth, plain and simple po, if you try to see the gold of the Philippines, di ba? Hindi naman niya ninakaw eh. He had it smelted, and then ang nakalagay sa sa gold natin, it's RPFM or Republic of the Philippines. So it's owned by the Philippines and not actually Marcos. So ang ano lang dito, if you also try to see history po, no, we cannot extremely explain it in a very short time, but the easiest way I can explain it is that these are heritage accounts. Prior to Marcos, prior to Jose Rizal, it's the wealth of the world. Kaya nga tamang-tama yung tag nyo, Ka-Anton. It says, wealth of the nations. Nations meaning the whole world, not just the Philippines. It just so happened that it chanced upon Jose Rizal's time that it was transferred to the Philippines and for the Filipino people to care for it. Care meaning hindi rin pwedeng paghati-hatian kaagad, no? Precisely kaya nga may mga may mga rules so tayong sinet. But on the good side of things, we set the foundation to be black and white. So whatever's written in the foundation, that is what you will get. And initially, you saw the packages that we brought out for the people. So yun nga sabi ko, apart from yung feeding program, you have a housing program, and then we have a livelihood program. Yung housing program na lang nagugulat yung mga tao kasi mismong yung mga tao sa Land Management Bureau and DNR nagulat din. When we had a panel meeting with them regarding the houses that we were supposed to build, which is 10 million po, no? Yun ang talagang set natin. Yun din ay ang black and white na nakasulat sa paperwork ng foundation. We will build 10 million houses nationwide. Initially, yun ho ang nakalagay. Before, I didn't like to say anything kasi mahirap pag hindi mo hawak yung pera. Ngayon, I am very bold to talk about it because we're already in the final stages. No? And people have to know what's in it for them. Kasi tulad niya nagsabi nyo, marami kasing magagalit pag sinabi, atin pala yan, bakit ganyan ang hati-hati? Diba? There are certain rules that we have to follow. Hindi naman po kinuha mo, hati-hati na. Diba? There are certain rules that we have to follow. Just like the housing, like I said. Initially, when we told them what we like to happen, kasi ang gusto natin is a 3 to 5 bedroom na Ayala type.
Uy!
Imagine, okay. Ayala type. Oh, so nagkagulantangan na. Ayaw maniwala ng mga tao sa DNR together with their lawyers that this is for free. Ang iniisip nila kaagad, magpapabayad tayo later. But in truth, when we brought out the paperwork says there, no, that you own the house perpetually as long as you do not sell it and you do not rent it out. Okay? Wow. So we have constraints, but everything will be explained. Kaya tayo by phase. The reason why we're going through a feeding program is to make sure na may laman ang mga tiyan nyo while we explain to you what your benefits are. Kasi mahirap makinig ang tao pag wala silang pagkain, wala silang ayuda, pag maraming complaints sa buhay eh. But for as long as the person does not have a problem with yung kanyang hand-to-mouth existence, makikinig yung tao, di po ba? So,
okay.
While we're doing that,
yung pondo mo, pampopondo mo dyan, manggagaling dun sa sinasabi mo dun sa babae na yan.
Etong initial po, yes. Initial na ililipat, yes po.
Paano na mamamonetize yung mga yan? Hindi ko makuha eh. Kanino manggagaling? Sa mga central banks?
No,
At
no, no.
meron
Currently
tayo.
ho, lahat ng central bank ng mundo, wala na hong balance. They're at a negative balance. Because
Okay.
almost all the central banks of the world borrowed our gold so that they can print their money. Kaya lang po, yun nga, yung sinasabi ko dati, kaya sila nagkaroon ng meeting dito ng lahat ng country. Remember kung anong year yon? That was 2015. That was actually the finality of the loans that was given out to all the countries.
Aha.
So they would like to renew, but sa renewal po kasi nagkakagulo uli. Ang mahirap po kasi, in truth, the Philippines is ready to let them borrow again. Only if they accept that we own the gold and we are now the owners of all their currencies. Yun ang contention natin. Kasi in truth, pinahiram natin yan eh. Nagsimula yan sa Asian countries na pinautang ng 1950s prior to Marcos. Hindi ho si Marcos ang nagpautang. Oh. So he was not the one. So our government, in the shadow government, and whoever was seated then as a president, pinautang ang mga Asian countries, remember? Yun ang simula ng ginamit ho natin ang ginto, and then it expanded. So the APEC meeting was initially only for Asia, but now the APEC is actually comprised of the world. So lahat ho sila may utang sa atin, but they cannot print, kaya nga naka-stand still. No country can print unless they have a gold backup. Precisely din ho kung bakit kinatay nila si Gaddafi. Because he was attempting to buy gold for his country so that he can start printing. Diba? If you try to his history, pinigilan siya. And the only country whose money and currency is not backed by gold until recently or until after the BRICS is actually the US. Kasi ang US backed siya by oil. But since nagkaroon siya ng recession because of the Lehman Brothers selling and the BRICS and so forth, they were loaned again gold. Kaya nagkaroon ng printing ng dollar na kulay blue. They used to have color green. Nagkaroon siya ng notes at lumipat from UST na tayo, United States Treasury. Diba? Kasi blue na yon, naka-loan na yon, it's gold. It's still our gold. Pero Chinese family ang nagpahiram. In the guise of a Chinese family, in the guise of a dragon family. So, as of 2015, naka-ready na lahat ang paperwork that if they accept that we own it, then as per paperwork, we can start lending them again. Kaya din yung ine-explain nila Doc Harry na magkakaroon ng debt-free environment. Kasi kung titignan mo kasi, debt cancellation ang tawag nila. Hindi talaga kakayanin ng mga country na bayaran ang utang sa atin. Because when they were starting to borrow the gold from us, gold was starting at $3.52 per troy ounce to $35 per troy ounce. Ngayon pa lang $1,500 to $1,800 per troy ounce. So no country can actually pay us. Yun lang, pag tinanggap nila na tayo ang may-ari, then we can start lending them again and then starting yung reprinting. Kaya ngayon, nag-iisip sila, instead of pegging it on gold, why don't we peg it on cryptocurrency and peg it on Bitcoin para matanggal si gold? Just para hindi na magamit ng Pilipinas. Diba? Kasi ang point nila doon, ayaw nilang tanggapin na ang Pilipinas ang may-ari at tayo ang may-ari.
Okay. So itong ang tatawag ba natin dito sa account na on hand na kamo?
That's a FMCA account po siya.
Okay, ang FMCA. Now, ito ba ang naging dahilan kung bakit nagkakaroon ng instability, chaos, or near chaos situation, overprinting of US dollar, overprinting at
No.
Wala itong kinalaman para ma-hamper yung proseso?
Actually, the reason why there's overprinting of dollars and the yung chaos worldwide is the fact that they
Pandemic
do not like to
pandemic.
accept. Hindi. Ayaw ko nilang tanggapin na tayo ang may-ari ng ginto.
Ah,
At ayaw nilang tanggapin na ano. Kaya, tingnan nyo, utang ho din yun eh. The US is currently at, if I'm not mistaken, 72 trillion in debt. Oh,
mm,
lahat din, di ba? Nakasil
mm,
sila ng debt ngayon. Utang din, pinapalabas nila. Nagpiprint
ah,
sila. Kasi thinking, no, that in any way na tanggapin man nila tayo na owner, o kaya hindi nila tayo tanggapin, and they can start ni Sarah Jessara, then it is debt cancellation. Wala silang babayaran na utang.
ah,
Yun ang nasa
reset,
isip nila.
reset
Diba?
naman. Oo.
O, kasi reset eh. Reset.
Mm,
Diba? Wala silang babayaran. But if you think about it, yun din ang pinaglalaban namin nung nakapag-meeting kami sa Brunei. Matagal na nilang ginamit. Hindi ba dapat proper din na yung may-ari ng pera, siya naman ang makinabang ngayon?
mm.
Diba?
Oh,
Tulad nung sa pabahay, nagko-complain sila, napakalaki naman yata ng bahay na gusto mong ibigay. Ang atin lang, nakita nyo ba ang mga bahay ng nasa first world countries? That's a small house for them. Diba? The house
mm.
that's big for us is actually a small house for them. And you say that you own the wealth. So bakit ka magtitipid as may-ari habang yung hindi may-ari, mas malaki yung benefits nila. Yun lang ang atin din, di ba? Bakit
So,
mas malaki ang benefits nila sa atin?
ibig mo sabihin itong current situation natin, pandemic, walang kinalaman ito dun sa mga impending payments or impending settlement of these debts. Walang kinalaman to.
Wala. Ang
Wala,
ang
wala.
ang ano lang ang ano nun, I know it was a pandemic because they do not like us to start using the wealth. Gusto nila sila pa rin ang may hawak.
Mhm. So, ano ang nakikita?
Very timely nga po eh kasi
Sige.
nung nakuha natin yung lisensya natin ng December, 2 weeks after we got the license in order for us to be able to start using the money for the people, lumabas yung COVID. So just imagine 2 weeks and it stopped us. Si COVID ho ang nag-stop sa atin initially to be able to give it to the people. But like I said, same yung sinasabi ni Pacquiao po at saka ni Kiboloy, no? Whatever has been in the blueprint of the father, nobody can stop. So even if they try to put the pandemic there, even if they try to put whatever blockages there, for as long as we believe that the father is in charge of everything, then they cannot stop it already from happening. Kaya nga pagpapansinin niyo din, in-announce na din ng US ng legal team ng US na starting ng 2022, when the elections start, then the Marcos wealth will come out. It's still tagged as the Marcos wealth. Unfortunately, if the president thinks that BBM, sorry po, pasintabi ako kay Francis Tanseco, pasensya na. If the president thinks that BBM is the key, then he should have named BBM. Tinanggap na rin sana niya na siya ang nag-push na si BBM ang tumakbo. But if you try to analyze when he spoke in one of the military affairs nang nagkaroon siya ng speech, sabi niya, I am sorry I was not able to deliver everything in the 6 years. Maybe it's best for you to find a Marcos or maybe that person will come out someday. Yun ang words niya.
So, para
Hindi niya sinabing
ina-acknowledge niya.
BBM. Oo, hindi niya naman sinabing BBM is the answer and the
Ah,
Marcos wealth is the answer. Hindi, sabi niya.
mm.
Hopefully, diba, you can find the Marcos who is the answer.
Okay.
Diba? Wala naman siyang sinabing diretsahan si ano.
Sa tingin mo,
Kasi
kilala din niya o hindi pa?
alam nila. Pero they
Ah,
cannot also, their hands are tied not until they are very sure that the wealth can really be moved. Kasi ang hirap diba, nasa position siya. And then he tells people that this should be, tapos hindi pala sasabit siya. Kahihiyan din naman niya yun, diba? But in
tama.
truth, his family has been a keeper. Nung grandfather niya is a keeper. That's why it's very hard for them to decide, what to do.
grandfather niya yung Chinese kung tutusin.
Hindi. Grandfather niya is part of the team who found Marcos in Mindanao when he was a baby. Tapos binigay siya kay sa Marcoses, tamang-tama, stillbirth yung pregnancy ni Doña Josefa noon. So, hindi nalaman ng tao that Marcos is actually a baby that was taken in Mindanao. Pero yung pagkatapon niya doon, he came from the not Chinese, no? As people are saying. Kasi naalala ko tuloy si TVM, tumatakbo din presidente. Nagsasabi siya na siya si Chua Tai at the Chinese wanted. No.
Lahat na lang
Marcos is part of the Mongolian Empire. And Mongolia used to own China. Diba? Kaya nga pag titignan mo rin ang history, no, connect the dots. Si Doña Josefa, nabigyan siya ng parang Princess of China, something title. Why? You should start asking why. Kasi inalagaan niya yung baby, di ba? Kaya pag tinignan mo, yung mukha ni Marcos compared kay yung sa mga kapatid niya, malayo. Kulay pa lang. Magkaiba na. Diba? But if you try also to see, no, kasi nilabas na rin lang ni BBM dun sa kanyang vlog, yung kanyang Nostradamus thing. Diba? If you try to see, ang sabi nga ni Nostradamus, lahat ng kayamanan na yan lalabas, no? When there are androgens. There too much androgen. Ano ang androgen? Androgen are people like me. Right? Pero sa term ngayon, hindi na nga they call them non-binary. Diba? Sa LGBT ngayon, there's new psychological findings. It has come out. There are so many people who are non-binary. They would not connect to any gender and just like to be themselves. That's called non-binary. And yet, if you try also to see yung timeline na nakalagay sa Bible, nakalagay din naman sa Bible, when the world comes as one, with one language, dun ang simula. Ano ang one language? The computer language. Kasi nag-uusap tayo ngayon, we may be chatting, we may be saying things. Whatever country you are, they can simply put yung system and they can understand you. You can understand each other. So nawala na yung language barrier because of the computer system. And with yung computer system, comes with yung freedom of information. Because you can always contest whatever has been said, whatever has been written, with whatever has also been shown in the other side of the world. Kung titignan mo nga din, di ba, with yung computer system ng Facebook, a couple of years back, lumabas yung isang clone. Yung isang clone ni Apple lumabas. He's from Mindanao. I think he died a few years back. But he showed pictures that he really looks like Marcos and he was really accepted as a double. Na pag nawawala si Apple, he would fill in. But with the event of the computer world, hindi na pwede. Hindi ka pwedeng andito sa Maynila, may kausap silang ibang kamukha mo sa Baguio, magkakagulo ang tao. Hindi tulad dati na walang computer, walang cellphone, okay lang. I can say I am meeting somebody in Mindanao and then the other me that I have hired can be taking a meeting somewhere else. Pero ngayon with yung sa computer, hindi na pwede. Kita mo na lang mo yung
yung may nabanggit kami hawak nitong FMCA account na babae, hindi ito related kay Marcos.
No.
Paano
There's a green book. Sabi ko po sa inyo. There's a green book, no? There's a green book na hawak ng mga iglesia. Yung green book na yon has 125 names. Yung 125 names na yon, yung mga anak-anakan in quotation who are supposed to be part of whatever is going to happen. No? These are adopted or people that they're going to use. But apart from these 125, I think mga 67 na lang ang buhay, there are other people. Yun nga kaya nga na-mention ko dati si Princess. Like I told you before, no? See, there are people like them kasi na bigla na lang out of the blue, they receive a person coming to them, oh, this is your brown envelope, this is the story about your life, this is you,
Princess
let's
Elizabeth.
claim it.
Princess,
Oo,
ah,
oo, diba? Let's claim it. Tapos, magte-claim na sila, not knowing na yung binigay sa kanila, hindi pala. Kasi tawag naman sa kanila, mga decoy. But,
tinadya ng ganung nangyari para
yes,
maitago.
yes. But, like I said, no, based on what I know, they should have received a trust fund. Yung trust fund nila, itago lang nila. Because when they use you, either a decoy o anak-anakan, you have a trust fund and they're going to pay you. So whatever's written under your name, may LOI po yan, nakaakibat on how much you are going to get. But in truth, yung LOI na yon, if I'm not mistaken, no, is the full trust fund that is under your name. May trust fund po yun. Pag
Bakit
ginamit ang
papatayin?
pangalan mo.
Bakit
Po?
papatayin? Sinong mastermind nun? Sinong gusto magpapatay?
Hindi papatayin ho. Hindi ho, walang papatayin. Ano po, kumbaga binigay ho sa'yo, gagamitin ka lang. Walang patayan. Ano po, kumbaga ginamit ka as a decoy.
Okay.
Decoy ho ang tawag. Tagging lang ho, tagging. You're part of the decoy, but paid for po yon. So kung ano man ang binigay sa iyo na trust fund, ang trust fund ho naman hindi naman kailangan mamatay bago makuha eh. Ang trust fund will be dependent on what's written sa trust fund. Nakalagay ho doon na even while living, this is what you are allowed to get.
Okay.
Diba? Not when you're dead. Not when you're dead po.
So itong mga 67 personalities na to, ang decoy lang lahat yan. Pero
Yes
meron
po.
silang natatanggap o matatanggap as being decoys. Meron,
Yes po. Apart from that 67 po, depende ho kasi sa timeline. As far as I know, like yung Japanese na nakilala ko, he's part of yung timeline ng 2010 eh. There were 117 foreigners na nabigyan ng trust fund. Kaya hindi lang Pilipino. May mga foreigners din na naghawak. Pero karamihan ng foreigners na yon, yung sa timeline nila, they are not FMCA accounts, they are JPR accounts.
Jose P. Rizal, gano'n.
Yes, yes.
Pero ibig sabihin,
Taso.
itong mga ginagamit lang yung mga pangalan nila at hindi
Yes
nila
po.
talaga pwedeng galawin. Kasi
No,
naman yung
not until they are, yun nga yung term, requisition.
ano ibig sabihin?
Meaning to say, binabawi na po natin yung account, pabalik sa mother account para magamit para sa tao. Kaya karamihan ho, hindi nila nagagalaw. May mga, ang problema lang dyan, like yung isang account ho sana naggagamitin natin, kay Castillo. When I entered the bank, no, I entered the bank for it to be magkaroon ng requisition. Nag-antay ako ng 1 hour para ma-verify. Nagkaano lang kami kasi nag-sign pala siya ng ano na ginawa niyang special power of attorney na binigay sa BDO. So BDO touched the account though the account was under HSBC. Kaya hindi namin nagamit. Kaya ngayon yung sinasabi ko sa mga tao, please, for as long as you do not know the history of why it's there and what it's going to be used for, huwag niyong pakialaman kasi sayang. Kasi once na pinagalaw niyo yan, automatically, it cancels off whatever you're supposed to get. Yun.
Ganun pala yun.
Ganun yun. So, kung pinagalaw mo siya, at may pinagbigyan ka ng SPA, paki-check mo nga to, tapos paki-trade mo to, paki-galaw mo to, automatic yon. It cancels it off.
Okay.
Tapos magiging recycled account siya, lilipat siya sa ibang tao.
Hindi rin ba ito yung dahilan kung ba't yung iba napapabalita, nakukulong?
Yun yung one reason kung bakit nakukulong sila. Kasi once you enter the bank, they will ask you for the history. They will actually ask you 3 questions, security questions. Pag hindi mo nasagot yung 3 question na yon, automatic kulong.
So,
Tapos depende rin.
ang total description nitong wealth na to shrouded pa rin to ng mystery o may talagang di pa rin natin matukoy kung sino talagang may-ari or may
No,
hawak.
I actually came out already and told the president and told the banks that it is now under my care. I am the 7th and last keeper, and I am the first and only implementer.
Okay.
Yun lang.
Pero yung account
Maraming
na
hindi naniniwala, maraming doubtful. Ang atin lang, once the wealth is there and we start sharing it to people, then maybe they would readily accept na tayo nga. Kaya lang doon sa mga original keepers din kasi, that's why I'm coming out openly. Sayang kasi ang pinaghirapan ng pamilya nyo. No? They are there na talagang sweat and blood na pinaghirapan nila na itago yan para sa sambayanan. Tapos since hindi nyo alam kung anong gagawin at naiwan sa inyo, tapos ginalaw nyo, sayang yung para sa pamilya nyo. There was one person who contacted me galing sa show nyo. I will not name him. Yung tatay niya passed away inside a bank or a hospital in Hong Kong, and then they took out his chip sa hospital doon sa harap. Yung chip niya ang inattach nung mother niya or parang stepmother niya doon sa documents na kumuha sila ng financer na foreigner para magalawin. Things like that, no? Imagine, sayang kung hindi nyo pinagalaw na ganon, then automatically, once na nagkaroon tayo ng requisition, your family can get what's supposed to be yours. Diba? Kasi pag pinagalaw mo, sayang yung pinaghirapan ng tatay mo o kaya ng lolo mo, hindi mo na makukuha. Diba?
Paano naman pwede ba yan ipaalam dun sa mga heirs niya? Kung sakali.
Ayun nga, that's why po we're coming out openly. Ang hinihikayat ko lang po talaga lahat ng tao, antayin ang announcement of what we have to do because everything will have to undergo a legal process. The account that we are using now is the first account. If this goes through, then automatically po talaga lahat ng may hawak ng account, we will process it the same way that we did it. Nico.
Pero nga akong kilala, no? Malapit siya sa Marcos nung araw. Isa siya sa mga trusted guy. 2 lamang sila eh. Pero ang pangalan niya ay Judge Donato. Ito si Judge Donato, ito yung mga nagtatransact ng mga ganyan-ganyan. Secret talaga yung trabaho niya para kay Marcos. So nung mamamatay na siya, sabi niya, kunin niyo yung ganito kong pera. Ilang milyon nasa kanya yun. Hindi na pinaniwalaan ng mga kamag-anak, hindi pinaniwalaan ng asawa. Hindi rin pinaniwalaan ng mga anak na may ganun siyang pera. Kasi hindi naman niya nabanggit eh. Kung kailan lang siya mamamatay, too late na. So ibang siguro may mga hawak na account, may mga trustee, mga ganyan eh. Baka dahil dun sa veil of secrecy, ayaw nila rin malaman until such time na too late na, hindi na alam gagawin ng mga sumusunod, ang susunod.
Hindi naman po actually too late. Swerte nga ho nila pag hindi nila ginalaw. Because that has a manifest, no? May listing ho yan. So lahat ng ginamit, sorry for the term, everyone who has been used in a certain way for the purpose that this will happen will get their reward, no? Kasi may listing ho yan. Basta hindi siya nagalaw, hindi sila nag-breach ng LOI, then automatically the family will be entitled to whatever supposed to be given to the person. Swerte nga ho nila pag hindi nila nagalaw kasi once ho talaga na nakaupo na tayo at okay ng lahat, then it is really part and parcel of our work to look for all of these people.
So ibig sabihin yung paggamit ng kanilang katauhan at random ba yan? Nagkataon na napili yung pangalan ko sa statistics or what? Ganun ba yan?
Yes.
Mako-confirm mo ba yan?
There are certain people na nagamit sila in a certain way na tulad ng keepers, no? Yung keepers, that's a different process.
Mm.
Per bunker kasi we know that they're supposed to be like 21 families, no? Kaya siya merong mga committee na kailangan kausapin, kailangan hindi pwedeng individual. Ngayon, that's a different scenario kasi
Mm.
handed down talaga yon per family. Most of them are now third and fourth generation keepers,
Oh.
no, sa physical. Ngayon sa accounts naman po, depending on the necessity of the time, then there are people going to be chosen based on family orientation din, minsan sa dugo. Sa swerte mo, pag yung dugo mo, there's something with your blood, they choose you. Sorry.
So paano mo
So
naman mabe-verify yan kung dapat i-report nila sa'yo? May way of verifying ba yan para
there's a list po. May listahan ho talaga ng data yan. The list has not yet come out. We are not also going to disclose it until the proper time. No? But yun nga ang sinasabi ko po sa lahat ng tao. As much as possible, do not touch it if you do not know why it was there and what the purpose is. No? Para hindi sayang. Kasi sayang yung pinaghirapan ng mga magulang mo. Yung mga unang keeper na yung mga unang generation ng may hawak ng mga accounts, they actually signed, no? They knew. Kaya nga may LOI, may letters of instructions that they signed for also. Kasama sa letters ng sinign na nila that this is what's supposed to happen, pero hindi nila na i-disclose sa next generation because of yung non-disclosure. Kaya nga din tayo nagpa-fight for ng freedom of information because it is already a different scenario altogether. Kasi hindi naman na tayo naghahanap ng for secrecy. We're already coming out in the open. Kaya nga, yung mga non-disclosures were already changing with freedom of information. Diba? We're already starting to change it for freedom of information. May mga dumadating ho, I keep telling them, we just have to wait because we have to make sure that we work within the bounds of law, no? And once there's one account that goes through, then we've already stated the process of how it's going to happen. I think I also gave you a copy of that. Nandun ho yung scenario on where what they have to do, especially when the list comes out. They actually do not even have to contact us kasi we will be the ones to contact them for them to get their share. It's an altogether different scenario already.
Okay. So bago tayo magtapos, alam kong naka 1.5 hours na tayo pero napakaiksi ng pag-roll natin itong interview muli natin, nasasabit tayong pareho. So ano ang masasabi mo, Migz, mabibigyan mo ba ng makapagbibigay ng inspiration sa ating mga viewers, listeners? May aasahan ba talaga tayo? At yan ba ay enough o adequate para mapugsa itong ating chaotic world? At anong mga outlook na pwede mong ibahagi sa amin? Kasi yung pagkakataon.
Ay po. As far as we're concerned, we have not stopped working po for the people. Okay, ang latest po natin, yun nga tulad ng dinisclose ko sa inyo, we have written in black and white and are ready to submit the SEC documents that the coverage for the beneficiaries would be at least 10 million families. And from these 10 million families, whatever we do nationwide, kasi we are going to cover 42,000 barangays. So barangay level ho talaga tayo. Whatever we're going to do here in the Philippines will be duplicated and replicated outside. It's not a one-day process. Kasi napakahaba ho talaga ng pinaglaban ng ating mga ninuno para lang mapunta tayo sa point na to. What we are grateful for is we are already in the point where we are about to implement everything for the people. So kung anong pinaglaban ho nila ever since, nasa stage na ho tayo ng harvest. yun lang ho ang napakagandang scenario natin, because if it will really happen in our lifetime, not in the lifetime after ours, but in this lifetime, explicitly saying, no, um, the Bible already says the Lord will come like a thief in the night, meaning to say, we may wake up tomorrow and it's there, or we may wake up a month from now, it's there. But definitely it would be one of these days. I cannot specifically say an exact date for it kasi ang time frame ho natin, like I said, is moving. But the Lord's time is always the right time. Whatever He wills to happen, as soon as He likes it to happen, will really happen in a moment in time that we might be so surprised that He has used the pandemic that was supposed to be used to block us as a stepping stone for us to be able to give to the people what's for them. Kasi ang belief ko talaga there are things in life na tinatawag na blessings in disguise.
Tama, tama.
Kahit na ginamit itong pandemic na to para hawakan ng tulad niya, yung sinabi ko dun sa letter, people like si Schwab, no? Who would like to hold it and spend it on their liking, which reminds me, si Karen Hudes more likely will be out of the equation already because she met an accident this year and
Uy.
she's, I think, no longer going to forcefully fight for it, but she will still work on the spiritual side. But she's already accepted that the people she used to work with are not the right people who are supposed to own the wealth of the nations. So, ang good thing nun, I think she's coming to see the light. Ang bad side about it is we no longer know who's going to change her again, na magiging somebody na kukuha na naman ng sa kanila na naman daw, di ba? But if we think about it, like I said, the Lord is always 10 steps ahead. So if the enemy puts a block, I know that he is going to give us a way out. Tulad nung yung pumunta kami sa Brunei, and I was explaining to you about Huawei, nang we wanted to have yung payment scheme sa ID na lang, gamitin yung ID, tapos ATM type na siya, lumabas. But with the pandemic, hindi na natin kailangan because we were also thinking about the QR code and the cell phones. And then WeChat came out. So with yung pandemic, it's a easier rollout kasi andyan na lahat ng payment scheme. Hindi mo na kailangan gawin na isa-isa. So once we roll it out, more likely automatic na. If you also try to see yung budget ngayon, makikita mo, nagpo-push na rin ang government. I think si NEDA is asking 120 billion, something like that for the IDs. Natawa nga ako eh. Kasi we know for a fact that the IDs will not be that expensive kasi initially we already did that, no? So we know how much is gonna be spent, but they're asking 120 billion, no? Nagulat din ako. Tapos one more thing, natatawa din ako kasi usong-uso ngayon si the Netflix on ano yun? Squid something, Squid Game. Natawa ako kasi inisip ko, if you start thinking about what they did in the Philippines in the onset of the pandemic, they introduced Squid Pay. It was introduced to all the vendors na yun ang app na gagamitin na parang WeChat sa Philippines. It's called Squid Pay. They gave them free IDs, binigay nila lahat free cards, ano. So lahat ng vendors sa markets, you can use Squid Pay to use this, that. And then comes out Squid Game. And then Squid Game tells you na kakatayin nila kayo in the end, di ba? So, ayos sila gumawa ng mga schematics eh. Di ba?
Okay. Sige.
Yun.
So,
But hopes up, everything will happen. I'm very hopeful that it would be as soon as possible po. We may quote a year, but maybe it may be less than that. Hindi na ho aabot eh. Kasi lahat talaga patungo na doon, especially
Tungo na
yung UN meeting. Ngayon naalala ko na po. Sa UN meeting, that's supposed to happen ng this November.
Okay.
Si Locsin, si DFA chief, made a speech or wrote a letter or something like that to the effect that he was saying that when they meet for the one world order, sana isama daw ang third world country. Mali yata yung kwento. It's not a one world order because that will never happen kasi ang one world order is for the other side. Ang atin ho, we're working for the light and we're working for the Lord. We may have almost the same kind of implementation kasi nga ginagaya nila, but it will never happen na sa kanila mapupunta. So he can never say na dapat maisama yung third world. Mali eh. Kasi third world tayo pero sa atin yung pera.
Okay.
And just for everybody to know, paano, sasabihin na naman, paano natin i-claim napakaliit natin? Paano natin implement napakaliit natin? If you try to see, if these countries do not believe that it's ours, then bakit nila tayo tinutulungan? Lahat ng klaseng arsenal, kadadating pa lang uli sa Clark, o ilang helicopter, ilang missile, ilang country na ba ang nasa Pacific Ocean ngayon na nakabantay? Kung hindi sila naniniwalang sa atin yon, then wala silang pakialam sa atin. Ba? And ito lang, hopes up. No matter how small we are, we can do it. You know why? Apart from si Pandora Papers speaking of the Cayman Islands, the Virgin Islands, and all these crazy islands na pwede mong itago yung pera, I will leave you with something that has not been said by any of your claimants. Look up Liechtenstein.
Look at
Liechtenstein.
I mean Marcos.
Liechtenstein. No.
Hindi
Liechtenstein. The country.
Okay.
Liechtenstein is the smallest country, almost like as big as the Vatican. But it is the richest country in the world. Na hindi
Pero
alam ng halos lahat ng tao.
Di ba may
Pwede
account
yung
doon ni Marcos doon? Sabi. Ang
Irene.
Si Irene.
Irene. Kaya lang hindi niya makuha-kuha kasi naka-double N.
Ano ibig sabihin nun?
Yung spelling ng name niya was misspelled. It's under Irene na double N.
Inako. So ano ang significance ng country na yan? Hindi ko ma-pronounce eh.
It's a very, very small country. Singliit lang siya ng halos ng Vatican. Pero halos lahat ng first world country may utang sa kanya.
Bakit?
Yun ang question. Kasi karamihan ng tao, they're thinking that the wealth that we have is in Switzerland. The wealth that we have is owned by this, owned that. No.
Nandun
Now
sa
I'm giving you a clue.
Liechtenstein na yun. Nasaan? Nandun. Irene Marcos.
Irene Marcos.
Ano,
ang Irene Marcos account po is an FMCA account din ho. It's an FMCA account.
So,
and all the accounts that were left with them have already been realized. Ngayon ko lang humaalala, pasensya na uli kay Francis Tanseco. Saludo ako kay Madam Imelda on a certain sense that she came out openly to tell the world that this is what is. No? This is all the gold, this is all the money, even if I cannot move it, I cannot touch it, it's there. As compared to her son who's running for president, na yung video nga niya, lagi niyong play dati. Huwag kayong maniwala kung may magbibigay ng bahay na your mom is telling the world that the money and the gold is there for the people and you're telling them that you cannot give them a house. Hindi ba kung ganung aspect, mas maganda na si Pacquiao? Kasi si Pacquiao, sinasabi niya, bibigyan ko kayo lahat ng bahay. I think he's saying that kasi nga, meron siyang Pac-Man.
I'm pleased to let you know na nagbago na yung impression ni Francis Tanseco kay Marcos Jr.
Okay.
Okay ka na magsalita ganyan. Dahil naman dun sa position ni Marcos Jr. sa ganon, ayan. Kaya nagbago na rin yung impression.
Sa akin naman ho kasi, wala namang masamang tinapay. But at least you give the people what's due them.
Yun
No?
na nga.
And you like to run as the father of the land. Tapos magpapa-interview ka kay Tony Gonzaga, where your wife tells na ni campaign niya ayaw niyang pumunta kasi ayaw niyang dumikit sa tao. O doon din talaga ako saludo kay Madam Imelda kasi if she goes out, kahit na anong tao ang humalik sa kanya, yumakap sa kanya, kaya mahal na mahal siya ng taong bayan di ba?
Totoo.
But you're planning to be the father of the land and your wife tells the interviewer na ako nga ayokong pumupunta kasi ayokong dumidikit sa tao. Then how can you be the mother when he becomes the father? Di ba? Mahirap Di ba?
Talagang hindi siguro para sa kanya yung role na yan. Ano? Hanap na lang tayo ng iba.
Yes, sabi ko, more likely, like sa last interview kasi ni Karen Hughes, sabi nga niya, we're already in the transition phase. So as per instructions also before, the transition phase means more likely we will not have, I'm not saying I'm certain with that, but it says we will not have an election any longer.
Parang may ganun.
May ganung tema.
May mga
Kaya
ganun.
pag tinignan mo din yung schematics uli ni BBM, sorry I'm picking on him now, he could have run under KBL. Diba? Kasi kineri na siya, nabuhay, pero hindi niya kinuha. Kasi ang tinanggap niya is what? Saan siya tumakbo?
NPC
Under sa federal. No, federal. Philippine Federal something.
Okay, ba't kaya?
Kasi nga, based on paperwork, we should have a federal government with a prime minister. If he thinks na pwede lang on paper na federal lang, hindi pwede We really have to go, pag-isipan nyo ho, ang pinaka-feasible for us to be able to make sure that everything will fall through, hindi na kasi maipasa-pasa sa Congress yung ating federal government. So the easiest would be a military takeover for transition. Diba? Kaya nga pagpansinin mo din yung mga salita ni PPRD, Tatay Digong, diba? Sa election, mag-ready na lahat ng pulis, mag-ready ang ganito. Because the only way, but he cannot declare right now kasi wala namang gulo. Diba?
Tama.
The only way he can declare for that is something would happen, but wala pa talaga Wala siyang reason to declare it. Kaya lang, kung federal ang gusto mo, di ba, on technicalities, under siya sa federal.
Pero siyempre mapipigilan natin yan na Migz kapag yung ating nilalakad, yung nilalakad mo in particular, ay lumabas na, mapapawi lahat yan. Lahat ng mga problema, lahat ng mga lingugmug niyan, and probably, posible, kung ano ang piliin nating forma ng gobyerno na sa tingin natin ay makakabuti sa atin, may expedite natin yan. Pwede siguro ma-expedite with that huge sum of money.
Actually not even with the huge sum of money with all sarcasm, no? With all sarcasm. If even just a peso moves from the FCM account to the foundation account, then the world will know who owns the money.
Tama. At mangungulelat si Donald Trump, gaya ng sinabi mo, na sa ating mga akala natin siya, pero mali pala. Bueno, Migz, hindi na kita pabahin na muna dahil alam kong medyo pagod ka at tayo rin mag-2 oras na. So dito muna tayo mientras tanto at maraming salamat sa iyong pagpapaunlak sa aking panyaya at alam ko ang ating mga manunod ngayon ay nakapagdulot ka ng inspirasyon sa ating mga tagapanood. Maraming salamat, Migz.
Salamat din po. Salamat po ng madami for having me po. And God bless po, Canton.
God bless you too. Hanggang sa susunod.
Hanggang sa susunod po.
Okay. So yan muna tayo magbabalik para sa inyong mga komentaryo. May kling paalala galing sa aking uncle, kay Uncle Klaus.
I want to be straight with you. There will be no return to the old normal for the foreseeable future. I repeat, there will be no return to the old normal for the foreseeable future.
So people assume we are just going back to the good old world which we had, and everything will be normal again in how we are used to normal, in the old fashion. This is, let's say, fiction. It will not happen.
A vaccine on its own will not end the pandemic.
Okay. So, tayo na. Magbasa ng ating mga komentaryo. Maraming salamat kay ayan, napakinggan natin, may pag-asa. Itong FMCA account, napakalaki pala nito Maria Victoria Villarante, good evening sa iyo, Marivic. Kay Madam Migz, to everyone. May Keniade, magandang gabi Kanton. Salamat sa pagbibigay ng update ni Migz. Alio Munoz, good evening. Thanks, Sir Anton. Matilde Erhina, good evening po. Bernabe Paita, magandang gabi. Migz, maligayang pagbabalik. Eladio Anino, hi Ed, magandang gabi rin sa iyo. Alexander Marvida, welcome back Migz. Good evening po Kanton, sabi ni Amlet Oretnom Montero. Naku, si Telma Montero. Lolito Patino, maayong gabi sa ating mga kawoten. Sana magandang mga updates. Maganda. Kaya nga sabi, blessing in disguise. Itong mga nangyayari ngayon naghahanap po yan ng katapat. Kung sa tingin natin ngayon masama yung nangyayari, meron ho yung katapat na kabutihan. Sa Sabado naman, hahatid din ni Ed Nerico, ano yung kabutihan na idulot na itong mga pangyayaring ito sa atin sa halos na 2 taon. May kabutihang pangyayari o mga kabutihang katumbas. Good evening, Sir Anton, Migz, watching from Las Piñas, ni Queen Verdos Pulangkos, Archie Tayag, kumusta na? Ayan, nabubuhay. Ang ating mga samahan, Kawoten, Rani Pen, good evening. Romeo Garino from Davao City, Ferdinando de Velas, Ara Oredina, good evening. Ara, Lizel Berame, happy, hello all. Gising na ka, Anton, ibang channel pala, shout out. Thank you, Lizel. Galvanetan, good evening po. Kay Anton, sa akin, kay Migz, kay Princess Elizabeth, at sa mga taga-WotN, Archie Tayag. Anton, baka may kilala kayong finance sa hard metal. Kailangan natin mismo yung metal. yellow metal. Adelfa Abunin, good evening from Ormoc. Ryan Roy Pascual, gandang gabi po from Rizal. Cheryl Malye. Kay Raul Sionosa. Saba Live, good evening. Pecognian, Senator to beloved Princess Elizabeth Malin Rodriguez Ruiz. Shout out. Kay Gina Maranon Amboy, kay Norberto Bustillo. Boy Singke, kamusta na boy? Hindi ka pa nakakauwi. Magandang gabi Kanton kay Madam Migz. Nabuhayan na naman kami ng pag-asa po. Of course, yan na lang ang ating pag-aari. Huwag na nilang nakawin pa Hindi na tayo papayag kung yan pa ikukunin pa sa atin. Carlo Magno Bautista, kay Bakon, mayong gabi, pinanggad na WotN, let's see again. What's good news? Si Ed Velasco ng Davao. Hello everyone, kaya tumataba ba? Tunstaba? Ferdinand de Velas, good evening. Diditsky TV, good evening Kanto, nakahabol gid ako. Mabuhay, sana may mangyari this year na maganda. Sabi ni Migz, pag ginusto na ng Panginoon niya, wala tayong magagawa. Mangyayari ang dapat mangyari. Kahit anong pigil nila. Gising na Kanton, iba naman to sir. Ito tayong ating main channel, Lizel. Okay, sure. Magandang gabi. Banji Kiambao. Lengleng, kamusta ka na Lengleng? Edwin Belino, magandang gabi Sir Anton at Migz. Lilibet ka total. Okay, keep safe always. Ganun din sa iyo. Archie, welcome back Migz. Maria Arlene Teves, good evening. Kay Raquel Escueta, happy to see you Madam Migz. Hello po Kanton, hello po Ma'am Migz, watching from Alamino City, Pangasinan. Edson, hi Joy. Good evening Sir Anton at kay Migz, magandang gabi sa inyo. Kay Gina Lagiman, ano ba sinasabi mo Ma'am Migz? Gumawa ng kombucha pa? Ano ba yung sinasabi mo? Yung kanina para bang home remedy. Pero sa bahay, meron ka noon para ma-supplement yung mga sustansya, nakakulangan nating sustansya na hindi naman yan lahat ay naipoprovide ng ating kinakain at makaiwas tayo sa sakit. Sino si Migz? Kuya Anton, sabi ni Rolando Delica. Yung mga hindi taga-WotN, yung mga bago pa lamang, si Migz po ay isa sa mga naiinaasikasong account. Kumbaga yung Wealth of the Nations account. Nasa pangangalaga ni Migz at kanyang sinisikap na mailabas ito, mailusot na, at nang sa ganon, ang biyaya ay ating mapakikinabangan. Bawat isa sa atin ay merong kaukulang biyaya na matatanggap. Hindi man yung dole out, hindi man yung o kanya-kanya, kundi meron tayo ring gagampanan at yung gantimpala ay nakalaan. Yun ang konsepto ng Rolando Delica. Hello po sa lahat. Kay Maiza Beris Garcia. Good evening sa'yo, Maiza. Happy to see you, Ma'am Migz. Nawala ta. Tumalon, lumaktaw. Teka. Lumakdaw eh. Ang dami ng natalunan. Okay, sige. Nued Ismalde. Okay. Good evening, Pio Villa Crucis. Katotohanan 1, 2, 3. Let's go. Kaloob ni Bathala. Aldwin. Kapag isang bansa, tuwan-tuwa sila, yung Filipino Rich President Marcos Good, may alam talaga sila. Shirley Katapang, good evening, Migz at Kuya Anto, watching from Israel, kay Glyza at kay Zaira Masa, good evening rin sa'yo. Mark Alfonso, kaya pala si Trump mahirap umasa, oo nga. Wala, sabi ni Migz, wala daw kasi talaga sa kanya. Although si Trump ay napababalitan sa kanya yung may asset na $7 trillion na ano bang pangalan ng Blackstone? Blackstone Securities. At sabi yung pera ng Vatican, yun ang mga umugong na doon nasa kamay na raw niya. Pero mukhang hindi ganoon. Ayon kay Migz, halos parehas lang si Queen Pecog ang mga plano. Nasa kanta yan. Ako'y Pilipino, wari natipon ng kayamanan ng may kapal. Nick Peñafel. Sino nga po ang nagbigay sa kanila ng pautang? Pera daw talaga natin yun. Peace, lalabas at lalabas din kung ano ang katotohanan sa mga nangyayari sa ating panahon. Teddy Simipranca, good evening sa iyo, Teddy. Nick Peñafiel. Sinong tao ang nagbigay ng pautang sa kanila? Parang ni Jose Rizal yun. Hindi ko na masyado natanong. Wala rin to si Tiburcio at talagang wala yan. Wala ho yan. Magno kayong umasa. At ang pumalit si Robert La Chica. Kunyari alias Robert Marcos. Hindi ho totoo yan, Yung Prince Royal, Prinsipe Robert Marcos, hindi po totoo yan. Huwag po kayo maniniwala dyan. Dahil ang tunay na pangalan ho niya ni Robert La Chica. Kaya huwag kayo papadala sa chika niya. Ni Robert La Chica. Fake ho yan. Fake. Tiburcio Marcos. Fake. Ayaw pa niya tawagin ko siya doon. Kasi dapat daw king. Albert, magandang gabi sa iyo, Albert. Albert? Wala akong marinig.
Good evening, Anton.
Ay, good evening. Napakinggan mo yung balita sa atin ni Migz. May dadagdag ka ba? Insight na maaaring mong idagdag o i-contribute sa atin ngayon para sa gabi nito?
Luminaw ng gusto. Parang talagang kinilabutan ako kanina habang nakikinig ako sa inyo. Kasi, di ba, nabanggit ko naman sa inyo na matagal na rin ako. Martial law baby rin ako. Nag-iisang anak ako. At hindi ko rin alam na ganito. Kaya, medyo mahaba na yung kwentuhan natin noon. Kung natatandaan niyo rin, parehas na parehas. Pero hindi kami magkakakilala ni Migz. Pero parang meron kami isa na dadaanan na ngayon lang namin ma-realize. Kumbaga ganun. So, parang nakaka-relate ako sa mga sinabi niya.
Okay. Siyempre kami hindi ko pa marirelate, hindi namin marirelate dahil hindi mo pa naman pwedeng ikwento siguro ng buong buo, no? Ang akin lamang siyempre partial lang yung aking nauunawaan.
May nabanggit po siya kasi kanina na patungkol sa 146
na trustee.
Na ginamit, oo.
Okay, sige.
And I think I'm one of them. Kasi nga, ang Ka Felix Manalo, ang iglesia, pinsang buo ng nanay ko.
Okay.
At ako, pinanganak po ako ng 47 years old ng nanay ko. At isang anak lang ako.
Aba? Oo, 47 years old ng mama mo nung pinanganak ka?
Opo.
Aba, okay Pahabol talaga, pahabol. So nakaka-relate ka dun sa kanyang sinabi, no, particular sa mga trustees.
Yes. At saka sa birth certificate ko rin po may something. Hindi ko naman pwedeng i-disclose.
And sa most recent na nangyari sa buhay mo, sa tingin mo hindi ka pinababayaan, ano?
Opo. Alam mo, kinikilabutan po ako kahit ngayon. Kasi
sige.
Kasi ngayon ko lang talaga na-realize pala na mabigat pala yung mga pinigawa sa akin, yung mga nangyari sa akin. Actually, hindi na ito yung second, third life ko eh. Madami na akong beses na namatay. Tapos bumalik. Pero mahirap na ikwento.
Mahirap na ikwento.
Pero ngayon, medyo ngayon pinagpahinga na siguro ako. Kasi hindi pa rin natatanggal yung ano ko eh. Naka-high flow pa rin ako. Pero kumbaga, nagawa ko na yung trabaho ko. Tapos ko na. Parang si Migz. Tagal niya nagtatrabaho. Pero wala nakakaalam, konti-konti lang sila. Ganon din ako eh. Kaya nung nagkakwento ko sa inyo noon, mga 3 years ago, diba? Pinakilala ko pa sa inyo si Uncle Terry. Yung pinag-aaral ni Makoy. Kami po ngayon yung maglalabas eh. Para i-distribute yung AU. Lahat ng banker ngayon, yung pinanawagan nyo, pinanawagan ko rin. So, lahat sila ngayon, nakapila.
Kamusta na nga pala si Uncle Terry?
Buhay pa! Kinakumusta ka nga eh. Actually, yung nasa PNB, ito sasabihin ko na out in the open. Kasi kailangan malaman ng Pilipino to. Yung kwento ni Migz, totoo yan. Totoo yan ako na magsasabi sa inyo. Kasi kahit ako, may banker ako eh. Nasa gusto ng pinakamaraming. Pinakita na rin sa akin sa satellite. Pero wala akong hawak na papel, wala akong kaalam-alam na nasa ilalim ng bahay ko. Yun, kwento dyan.
Sige lang. At alam ko
pero
na.
hindi ko na hinahangat na makuha. Hindi ko hinahangat, wala. Parang all out lang ako na makatulong. Kasi para sa akin, tapos na eh. Tapos na. Yung mga tumulong sa akin dito, magtataka ka talaga.
Nakuha ko na yun.
Paano babayaran itong million na sigurado bilang ni Aileen.
O wala kang dapat alalahanin, ganun ba?
Talagang wala. Halos kunin ako ng helicopter eh. Nung mamamatay na ako doon sa ospital na isa, talagang pagtawag ni Mrs. Takbo lahat eh, parang in-extract ka, gano'n.
Pero hanggang ngayon, di mo pa rin alam kung sino.
Hindi, kilala ko na. Matagal na kami nag-aayos. Pero hindi ko akalain na susuportahan nila ako ng gano'ng kagrabe. Kaya ngayon, nasa ospital pa.
Kaya pala sabi mo,
yung katabi ko.
last week sabi mo, kaya pala sabi mo sa akin, naniniwala kang may WOTN. dahil sa
Oo.
pinakahuling travails mo sa
Kahanton.
buhay.
Kahanton by chance. By chance kita na ano. Pero everything happens for a reason. Yun lang ang masasabi ko. Kaya until now, kita mo, hindi pa nagbabago yung sinasabi namin o sinasabi ko sa inyo.
Ako
Pero
lang.
nasa process pa rin talaga ako eh. Dahil, parang lumalabas lang siya. Unti-unti. Hanggang sa ma-realize mo, yun na.
Okay.
Medyo nahirapan na akong huminga.
Sige, Bert. Okay, thank you so much on the share mo, ha.
Opo.
We truly appreciate yung willingness to speak up.
Oo, kasi this is the time na talaga kasi walang hope eh.
Yeah, correct.
We are the only ones who can give hope. Kaya dapat sabihin na natin yung talagang totoo.
All right. Sige, pagaling ka,
Okay,
Albert.
thank you po.
Pagaling ka,
Thank you
Albert.
po.
Thank you.
Okay.
Pagaling ka. Ayan, no, si ating kaibigan na si Albert Yu, ay nasa hospital po siya currently dahil nga po sa COVID. Pero dahil nga po sa WOTN at may mga ibang mga watching over him pala, hindi niya akalain, halos sinakay siya sa helicopter, dinala siya dun sa mas magandang hospital sa St. Hindi niya alam kung sino. Basta meron lang. Kaya sabi niya nung hindi pa ito nagsisimula yung programa, sabi niya naniniwala siya na may WOTN. Ibig sabihin may Wealth of the Nations at merong maestro dyan. Hindi pa nagpapakilala kung sino. Nanonood lang. Sir, nanonood ka lang. Madam, nanonood lang. Siguro para sa kanya hindi pa critical, ano? Pero yun sa sinasabi ni Migz na 147 na trustee, may 67 na lang naiwan ngayon. Ayan, parang nakarelate si Albert Yu dahil hindi Yumali, hindi siya pinabayaan. Kaya, sir, madam, nanonood ka lang. Okay. Marami na kami nahihirapan, ha? I-hire mo yung mga nawalan ng trabaho uli, ha? Kung ano man yung industry na uusbong, dulot nito, may mga panibagong opportunity, may panibagong industry, kalakaran, i-hire mo, ha? Abolish G5, G7, 23. LVM na bakit walang natarang mga pobreng mga Filipino beneficiaries, walang natatanggap ang mga pobreng beneficiaries. Huwag daw gagalawin. Somebody is watching over you. Kailangan na po talaga yan, sabi ni Mark. Trustee lang si FM, mga signatory, si Pedring, si Diana, na pinatay ng NPA, si Eugenio Ocampo, na merong chip sa kanang braso. Ayun, pinakuha nga daw kasi yung chip. Dapat daw hindi raw ginawa yun. Ang problema naman, baka makremate. Pag nakremate, nasusunog yung chip. Hello, Canton. Musta na? Sir, hello. Okay, thank you. Katrina Sevilla, hindi yan ma-withdraw. Si FM, hindi yan nabuksan ng vault kasi ang password hindi niya alam. Facebook user, dun sa hindi nakikita yung pangalan eh. Sikapin ng lahat na gumawa ng mabuti sa kapwa at gawing lingkod ng Diyos ang lahat ng tao sa silong ng langit bago ang mga nakatagong yaman maibahagi ng pantay sa buong katauhan. Preamble of the Philippines ay saklaw ng yamang ito ang lahat ng LOI. Meron ng yaman na nakakalat sa buong mundo, ngunit 10% pa lang yan. Mga bahagi ng mga nakadokumento meron sa buong mundo. Good evening sa iyo rin. Yung totoong Tiburcio lang ang makaka-open. Peke yung Tiburcio Kuno, tatakbo sa pagka-presidente. Thumbprint lang. Katrina, kung ganyan ang pautang ng Pilipinas, saan nakapupuntang malalaking interes, politiko, general, okay? Abolish. Marami pa tayong mga sikretong dapat malaman, Katrina. Marami pa. Parang in case maubusan ng funds ng Philippine government, they request one person account to come out for spending or period of time. Tama ka dyan. Kaya punay pa na yung dating ng mga no to BBM. Marami nang ayaw. Gemini, mainit sa mga kabalang kayamanan kaya maraming anak-anakan. Kaya wait ka talaga. Tama, wala rin magagawa doon ang BBM. At least BBM may sarili silang pera from their father. Oo, bastante na. Automatic yan, mga heirs talaga maka-entitle. Kaya mas maganda, wala sila alam. Good evening everyone. Feli, kamusta ka na? Long time no see, Feli. Bakit po hindi ma-share? Hi po. Doon yata ito sa WOTN group page, no? Kaya walang picture. Mga code nila man gamit nila sa mga account para may tago sa elitista. May Marilyn Palikte. Nagpapautang ang Pilipinas sa iba't ibang bansa pero daming pulubi sa Pilipinas. Rodel Mercado, blessed po sa inyo. Lizelle, ganda ng topic. Kanton, kailan naman i-implement yan? Malapit na yan. Makakaapat na taon na tayo, malapit pa na. Sige lang. Kanton, na-apply nyo na po ba ulit yung... Wala pa, Lizelle, wala pa. Kulang pa. Good evening, kay Renve, Glenn Miradora. Basahin ko na lang inyong mga pangalan. Ni Rothschild ang nagpapatay sa mga may hawak ng account. Good morning, Francis. Ay, malugod ko pang balita na malapit na mabuo yung dula musical na binubuo ni Francis Tanseco at ni Maricin Yanesan panamagatang Maharlika. Yolanda Mejilla, good evening. Pamigay nyo na po, dami na naghihirap. Opo, sa signatory. Huwag lang kayo manood. Panoorin nyo rin yung iba. Kaya yung Titanic, pinalubog nila kasi lahat ng mamayaman sa buong mundo nandoon. Nangangamusta si Mario Castrense, yung follower member po ninyo na OFW sa China, pero nakauwi na siya before mag-lockdown last year. Di na nakabalik sa China kasi lockdown na. Kamusta daw po ang chat kami dito. Unfortunately, she passed on last month. Sino? Si Mario? Marjo? Kamusta daw po? Kami lahat 2 months ago, unfortunately, she passed. After her mom passed away, both due to COVID. Oh my God. Umaasa pa rin siyang tulong till this day. Okay, sige, Feli. I'm speechless. So nga. Pero din akong kaibigan na umaasa rin po sa tulong na ganoon din, na-COVID siya. Pero meron naman siyang kapalit. Nandiyan naman yung mga hahalili kung sakali. Meron naman siyang heir. So, ganoon din kay Marjo kung meron siyang anak. Tignan natin. Israelites, nakadiscover ng internet. 2 codes on the same. Rodrigo Larob, sabihin mo man, Migz, iboto ba namin si Bibong? Mga Kasarian Mafia, halos lahat na nasa bunker. Arnel Fernandez, good evening Kanto. May sukat yan year 2022 to 2052, Divine Government of the Philippines. Okay, Ami Sager, good evening. Ay, Dudes, non-disclosure agreement ang problema ng mga keeper kasi yung iba nagsamantala na i-transact nila ang kanilang document pero na-deny gawa ng sinulo nila i-transact o i-claim. Kailangan sa pagkilos ay body-body system para may witness of proof. Sila nga. Ganyan na nga sabi ni Dudes, sabi ni Migz, wag pakialaman. Ang totoong may-ari yaman at people of the Philippine Island ang mga politiko, general oligarko, hindi kasali. Kaya naman itong mga politiko pahig sa bakuna para sila na corrupt. Okay, Gemini. Okay, Telma. Kasi nga po, pagkulang din po ng pagtuturo ng katotohanan sa mga Pilipino. Sa mga konti naniniwala, baliw tuloy ang tingin sa amin. Pero yung mga may malalim na kaalaman, of course, tumahanga sila. Embargo ang ipataw para mapaniwala na Pilipino nga kaya may karapatang mga siwa. Cora Mahumok. Uy, good evening, Ma'am Migz. Cora Mahumok. Di ba pwede matig, Feli. Kaya nga, parami ang bakulang. Gusto na nila matodas. Makes sense, Sir Anton, Migz Fernandez. Is that you? Hindi, Migz Gaviola, Migz G. Alexander Mavida, sabi ni Migz, may arsenal na dumadating galing ilang bansa, bakit hindi na ibabalita? Si Digong, traitor. Kaya sinabi ni BBM kasi ang dami ni scam gamit ang Marcos. Nandito na lahat ng ginto sa atin. Kaya lang, yung may mga ginto na yan galing sa ibang bansa na dinadala dito. Partido Federal de Pilipinas. Okay, sige. So, di ko na po mababasa. Pasensya na po dahil napasarap po yung ating palitan with Migz. Maraming salamat sa inyong komentaryo. Kay simulan natin dito sa mga hindi natin mababasa. Kay Judith Sarasa Versosa, Miss Maranata, ito si kumpadre ko pala magandang gabi siya kumpadre. Kay Johanna Yamelo Estolas, kailan daw po magsisimula, etc. Sige. Si Cloyd, binaan ko lang si Cloyd, i-acknowledge ko si Cloyd. Kasi kaibigan natin ito, si Claude, kay Romel Kaingin. Okay, sige. Maraming salamat po. At pasensya na, hindi ko mabasa na lahat ng inyong mga komentaryo hanggang sa Sabado. Kami po ni Mang Ardo para po sa isang episode ng Alien Talk at hanapan din po natin ng good side of the negative. Good side of the bad side. Ito sa mga nangyayari sa atin ngayon. And sa Sunday Super Special, si Prinsipe ang ating magiging panauhin. Ayan lamang po ang nakayanan ng inyong lingkod for this episode of WOTN sa Sabado Alien Talk. Ano po ang good side ng mga bad side na ating nararanasan at the moment? And sa linggo with Prinsipe. Magandang gabi.